Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. I'm happy and I'm grateful. Every Monday morning, I'm going to tell you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, you are prosperous. Everything that your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. You are great. We're created from Jehovah God. We are created from love. And if we're created from love, that means that we are loved, and we give love. So that's something that I'm just not willing to take for granted. Today was I was on the phone earlier, but because any of you all that go to church with me, Brother Barlow preached a message yesterday on the kingdom, and he talked about the keys. And so I told y'all, like, my dad, he comes to people in their dreams, but he never comes to me. But I woke up this morning and I was crying, and I must have been, well, I was crying in my sleep. And, the dream I was having is about the holidays and whatever. So I started thinking about grief because I know that grief is an emotion. And I started thinking about the message from yesterday. And I had to remind myself this morning that I'm spirit with a soul wrapped in this flesh. I don't grieve like the world, but I grieve with hope. Okay. So my first instinct was to want to be sad and be, I don't know, to be overtaken by that emotion because it's a fact, I miss my dad, but I had to start tapping into who I really am. All right. This is just Meal Prep Monday. I want to put something on your mind today. And I don't have a something that I thought about and have to bring to you. I gotta do this for me today. I gotta keep it real. I gotta be my own meal plan. Okay. So here's the thing. I begin to think about my original DNA. I'm spirit with a soul wrapped in this flesh, and this flesh it's hurting. Okay. But I don't want to get caught up in the flesh. I want my spirit man to rise. All right. So I began to think about the message yesterday, and I was like, all right, Holy Spirit, you've been left to lead me, guide me, direct me. I called James and I pointed out to him how I was feeling. But then I had to get off the phone because I'm like, let me write my dream down, right? But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to look to man to help me. I'm going to look to what was left to lead, God, and direct me. All right. So had busy conversation, but it was God conversation. It was kingdom conversation. And what God has been showing me this morning, when we hit these places, when we hit the place where our natural, our emotion, our flesh is trying to overtake, God began to show me that this life is sequential. All right. If you think about it, it goes from seconds to minutes, minutes to hours, hours to days. It goes from, man, like to years to decades to it's sequential. All right. And while we're in this life, we look for, like, I don't want to feel the grief. I want to boom. I want this whole shift of trajectory in how I feel this morning. So I began to think about this life, and I began to think about this journey, right? And I want to encourage you to think on Meal Prep Monday this week. Understand that everything that you do right now has an effect on your tomorrow. It has an effect on your sequence. It has an effect on your trajectory. I hope I'm saying that right. Because this is the thing. You know that we know we're going through this journey to reach our final destiny, right? God, man, God gives us purpose. God ordains our purpose, but we direct our destiny. All right. The things that we choose to do in this journey, it directs our destiny. So the decisions we make today, what I decide to do with this emotion of grief today is going to affect my destiny. It's either going to rob me from today or it's going to push me to be stronger in searching for what I believe is purpose for me today. Does that make sense? Listen, Lord, we got to remember, if we're spirit with soul wrapped in this flesh, everything happens in the spirit first. Everything happens in the spirit first. So when stuff starts to come and we are in our natural state, in our natural place, you know that you have authority to shift what is going on. All right. I wanted to cancel this morning. I didn't want to get out the bed. I work from home. I wanted to roll over, answer a couple emails, and stay in that posture. That's what I wanted to do. That's how I felt. But I had to get up. All right. God began to speak to me about this. Like, girl, this ain't what I have for you. Yes, you're going to feel the things that you feel, but get up, keep getting up. Do you trust me? Do you believe me? Do you believe the promises that I have? Do you believe, as Brother Barlow talked yesterday about the keys, the keys to the kingdom, right? God gives us keys. There are keys that we have through this journey. There are decisions that we are able to make. All right. So here's the thing. God determines our purpose, but you determine your destiny. How do we do that? Listen, it's by what we do, by what we say, by our attitude, and by our actions. All right. We determine our destiny by what we do, what we say, by our actions, and our attitude. Okay? So if I believe that every day is great, it's up to me to keep it that way. If I believe that nothing happens by chance or surprise to Jehovah God, just to me, if I believe that my footsteps are predestined and preordained, then I gotta believe that everything that happens, he already knows. So if it's something that's going on with me that can take me down a road of darkness, take me down a road of depression, take me down a road of hurt, take me down a road that doesn't benefit me, then I gotta believe that he already knows and that there's a way for me to be on the other side of it. All right? So here's the thing. When we begin to understand that we have authority and that we have control, things will shift. Okay? The things that we speak, what is faith? Speak those things that are not as though they are, right? You start to understand the authority of your words and what you speak, your days will change, all right? Things will actually shift. When you begin to understand that your attitude is an authority and a power, and you start fighting to have an attitude of gratitude, things will shift. When you can be grateful, things will shift, all right? Even talking to you now, the feeling of grief isn't necessarily gone, but my attitude is shifting how powerful that emotion is on me. I'm normalizing it because the reality is we grieve anything that leaves, all right? We grieve anything that's a disappointment. And please hear me. I'm not minimizing how I feel about my dad, but what I'm understanding is grief is an emotion. I'm actually grateful now that I was crying in my sleep and I ain't crying while I'm awake. All right? I'm choosing to believe and think on the greatness of my relationship with my dad. I'm choosing. It's a choice. All right? All right. So, what am I saying on this Meal Prep Monday? Because now I feel like I'm all over the place. I want you to know that your destiny is where you end up. And it's the simple things that we do that help line our destiny up with our purpose. Okay? So like I said, God already created our purpose. All right? He already knew our purpose before he founded earth. All right? It was activated on the cross. We were brought into this time, the birth date of you, to fulfill the purpose that he's already done. It's a fixed fight. We already win. But it's simple things like this morning that help us shift our destiny. All right? That's that whole free will part. Purpose is purpose. All right? The fulfillment of to your destiny is on you. So listen, everything you say, think, and do is shaping or shifting your destiny. It's everything that you say, that you think, and that you do. It is shaping, shifting, molding, doing a little line in the dirt to get you to your destiny. All right? Me and Danielle, we were talking about prophets the other day. And I told her, like, for me, as I'm learning kingdom, not religion, but kingdom, some things I just don't want to really talk about if I don't know it. So I was telling her, like, I don't know why, but I know I believe that everything that was there in the beginning is still here. But so I believe in prophecy. I still believe that there are prophetic words that are spoken. I believe that prophecy is real. I can't necessarily say and speak on prophets because I don't necessarily know one that I've had relationship with that I can vouch and just say that I believe. But in my soul, I believe in prophecy, okay? So here's the thing. If I believe it, and I believe that keys of wisdom for kingdom, for me to activate it, is here, then I got to believe in declaring and decreeing. See, we've been talking about affirmations, right? I want you to think deeper on affirmations. You got to speak. Like your words have so much power in what your destiny is. Okay? So you got to learn to declare and decree some things. You got to learn and declare. Now, we want things to just shift overnight, right? If you poor today, you want to be rich tomorrow. But no, if you ain't got no money today, you want to have a whole lot of money tomorrow. But here's the thing. It can happen in the spirit. God's time ain't our time. All right? So you can speak it. You can believe it. Well, no, you got to speak it. Well, then, yeah, you believe it because your belief is going to activate it in the spirit. All right? Then naturally you begin to declare and decree. All right? Listen. Your speech activates. All right? Even if we don't see it naturally, it activates. So that means that when you are talking, when you are praying, because all prayer is verbal communication. All right? When you're talking, when you're speaking, when you're praying, you activated by declaring and decreeing. All right. So today, I mean, obviously, I miss my dad. Like, yo, I was crying in my sleep. And in the dream, it was, it was Christmas, and it's all stuff. Like your subconscious mind, like in the dream, it was, being at Kadaja's, doing the tree. That's what they was trying to do yesterday. Hopefully we'll be able to do it today. So it's all the stuff that's on your mind. But then in there, some other stuff happened, and it made me start thinking about my dad, and everybody was in there, could see him, I couldn't see him. So here we are. Think about it, in my dream, we're like in this happy Joe golly place, doing the tree, decorating, all this and that, and everybody see dad but me. Now that I say it out loud, probably why I was crying. I don't know if I was crying because I didn't see him, because I miss him. I don't know. But here's the thing, I woke up. All right, so now I'm here in this natural space. I gotta declare a thing. I gotta decree it. I don't grieve like the world, but I grieve with hope. All right? So I'm so happy and grateful now that I have hope. I'm so happy and grateful now that the joy of the Lord is my strength. I'm so happy and grateful now that my glass is half full, never half empty. I'm so happy and grateful now. Okay? You got to start declaring. You got to decree some stuff. You got to think about what's coming out your mouth. All right? Because my first thought was to speak about the fact that I'm sad and I'm hurting. But something said, nope. So I got off the phone and I started to write out the dream. But he wouldn't even let me focus on the dream. He started talking to me about life. He started talking to me about kingdom. He started talking to me about the power and the authority that I have here in this natural space. Listen, it's Meal Prep Monday. All right? I want you to declare and decree some stuff this week. I want you to get affirmations. I want you to speak those things that are not as though they are. I want you to think about, dream again, figure it out. We in the last month of the year, all right? We wrote the vision. We made it plain at the beginning of the year. Then we talked about the stuff that hinders the vision from coming forth. Then we start talking about relational intelligence. We need to talk more about soul care and emotional intelligence, because now we in 12 months. We started this in month 1. So that means for 11 months, if you look at your journey as sequential, if you look at this journey, that it starts with seconds to minutes to hours to days to months to years to decades, right? You start building. There's no reason why at the end of a calendar year, we can't leave it encouraged. I don't care if you didn't mark everything off your piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. All right? The last 11 months, you should be. I told y'all last month, go back to what you wrote in January. Refine it. Rearrange it. This ain't the law. The kingdom is the law. All right? The pen and paper is where we learn to dream and write these things out. We write the vision and make it plain so that those around us, the ones who see it, they can encourage us. They can help us. They can keep us accountable, because we know, just why it's good to have accountability partners. You need to have the person you can declare and decree with that's going to keep you accountable, that's going to encourage you, that sees the best version of you, even in your hot mess. Because we all got it. You can't connect with someone who can't never see themselves, because that person is going to always tell you what's wrong with you. Going to tell you what you're doing wrong with you, why you ain't getting what you're getting. Listen, that's why you, Lord, stop sharing your destiny with people who they just don't have the capacity to hold you. Lord, I'm getting on a soapbox. Jesus, don't do it today. Listen, Meal Prep Monday. What time is it? 10:21. I need you to know and be honest with yourself on this part, all right? Because there's three types of people. The ones who watch things happen, ask what is happening, and make things happen. All right? Most people watch. They watch what someone else is getting, and they watch what someone else is doing. All right? Can even be a great support to what they're watching, but ain't nothing happening for them. Or if it's happening, it's just kind of, then they hit these ceilings. That's because they watching. They putting too much energy into watching. And then you got those who ask what's happening. All right? Ask what's happening. You got to be careful when you fall into that, because you can get a little stony. You can get a little, you get a little hateration. What's going on over there? You so busy trying to be figuring out what's going on over there that your little stuff, there ain't nothing going on with you. Then you got the ones who just make things happen. All right? It just make things happen. It's the simple things that we do that help line our destiny up. All right? I had to be real with myself. I'm just not the one that make things happen. It does not come naturally for me, but I know that I have all authority in me to do it. So now I got to learn to declare and decree. You got to learn to declare and decree, all right? This week, I want you to declare and decree some things for yourself. I want you to declare and decree. I want you to have your accountability. Declare and decree these things. Y'all need to lock hands, do whatever. Y'all got a high five. When you especially when y'all in church, high five your neighbor, right? Declare and decree. But if you by yourself while you declaring and decreeing, that's why you got two hands. Can you declare and decree and high five yourself? Sometimes we gotta do it. No, all the time. You gotta affirm yourself. You've got to, because this life, this journey, the hiccups, the wounds, the trauma, the whatever, it is set up, this dark place, to distract you, to make you feel like you less than, what you can't do, this, that, and the other. That's why you affirm. Everything that comes into your mind that is negative, everything that someone is trying to tell you and dissect you open, listen, make it an affirmation. This sounds so crazy, but it's the truth. Make it an affirmation. Affirm yourself, okay? I want you to affirm yourself this week. Why? Because the keys, all right, they're wisdom keys to kingdom. And I need you to understand some of the keys. This is what he told me. That's why I got to go back, because he just told me I got to do it with y'all this week, all right? It's what you do. It's what you say. It's your attitude and your actions. So this week, be mindful of what you do, the attitude you have while you're doing it, what you're saying while you're doing it, and then how you do it, your action, all right? Make it kingdom. Make it who you really are, because you have the authority, all right? Your relationship, you want it a certain way, begin to speak it. You want a relationship to look a certain way, speak it. When it don't look like that, rest your lips, okay? And go affirm somewhere else. All right, it's 10:25. Just know, everything you say, think, and do is shaping and shifting your destiny. That's what I want you to remember. Everything you say, think, and do is shaping and shifting your destiny. That argument ain't worth it. And whoever provoking you to argue, you need to check yourself and really see what role they play in your life. If somebody in your life and just don't ever want to come to an agreement with you, you better figure out where they're supposed to be, and then you better start speaking it the way it's supposed to be spoken. Okay? So, Meal Prep Monday. I want you to remember to stay humble, to stay focused, to stay positive, to be the best version of you unapologetically because no one else can do it. And understand that you have keys to the kingdom. You have wisdom keys. Everything that you need is really in you. And when you begin to affirm them, you begin to speak them, you begin to do that naturally, you're activating it in the spirit. And in its due season, it shall come to pass. You got to remember that. All right. So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.